Hello and welcome. Now, both of these we're actually going to start them off to begin with because I have had this so many times. Causeway will go ram right into the gate, so we're going to like just. I did have a neighbour straw. Yeah, no, it's coming, it's coming. So we're going to like just do this so that it can't do its normal trick. And I'm going to do the same with the other one as well. So this is nice harvester. I put this in a few weeks back, but right. So yeah, let's go. We'll immediately switch the lights off. We're going to struggle to get the, and this one I'm going to do exactly the same for exactly the same reasons. And I'm going to switch the lights on, but yeah, I'm wasting my time because it's not going to, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this because what it will do, or has done on many, many occasions, is it will hook in and then it'll get stuck on the tree or something silly and then you wreck your crop. Now, I don't know how delicate the onions are, so I'm going to like preempt that by basically, yeah, like we're going to do this. It is true what I said though. It is. I'm not sort of trying to have a go, but it's the is yeah, I'm killing it. I can see it. Yeah, the meshes are very low res for textures for like things like onions and stuff like that. And the more high res you go, like this is true 4K, the top end 4K, which means it sort of makes those meshes even worse than normal because there's more pixels. It's a bit like playing an old game with the pixels and you're playing it on 4K sort of oh, it's still pushing a little. Oh, well, there's not much we can do. It's better than like what the workers will do if you just let them unleash. It's better to lose a little than a lot. So I think we're going to get snagged by the tree anyway. Yeah, I thought so. So I think we're going to have to sort of like so, go around and then sort of hit this. And if it has the bad thing about having the first point on the field be bad like that is the fact that sometimes it starts and it goes to that point to get to the second. So we sort of, yeah, let's actually say start there. Apologise for having the header down still. Don't want that at all. We're going to quickly see if we can beat the gate. Ooh, get snagged. Now this is going to be a little bit of fun, really. Ooh, that was not the gate. Yeah, it's yet more. Okay, lights. Yeah, I thought this might happen. Ah, yeah, you see the green underneath to stop us actually chopping this. Yeah, it's an old trick. Luckily, one I know about, and one that yeah, you can sort of sometimes combat. So, right, nearest. Let's see. Can you go now, or are you still? Oh, my life, Gordon Bennett. What a nightmare. I do like the way that it's falling into the ground. That's a new trick. I have not seen that before. So nearest, let's try once more. Can we please? I hope that we don't have any more to hack to pieces. I'm quite. No Temon cutting the limbs off, the necessary limbs, which I think is going to be on this one too. Yes. Please, this is never a good idea. Please tell me I've got to do this all the way down. I think you have. Right, we're going to go around one circuit because this is going to be the way that it is. But at least I'm going to switch the lights on. Oh my love! Please don't tell me that's the field 3 as well. Oh my love. Okay, I won't tell you. I won't tell you. Oh. Well, it could have been nastier, and that was my own fault. Admittedly, that one was all me. Right, yeah. So let's. Ooh. Yeah, I think we'll do the first. I mean, it is very close. This I did expect to be trouble with. I think what we're going to do is actually do a little bit of, and this is what I was saying. I've had quite a few maps with new map makers who do a cracking job. It's beautiful, but practical, hardly. Yeah, it really is awful, and there are reasons why on a farming game that this shouldn't happen, which I don't really think I need to explain at this precise moment in time, because we can all see what the problem is here. I think we need to pull back a little. It's weird if things touch things, but it also could be that we're not allowed to. It's like in the middle of the ground, or I'm just hoping we can do something. Yeah, now there were some that were impossible to cut. Oxygen David is one of those. That is. Okay. Looks like we've got to go wide and miss some back up. What we'll do is, I think we'll try also as we go around, because we've got to work on this field time after time after time. We'll do a bit of painting, I think. Now, I think it's quite a free run up to this bit. So let's do a bit of painting on areas that are inaccessible. That tree is one of them as well. Is this a job for a map maker? It is really. Should we have to do this ourselves? Not really. It is true. This is a necessary skill that you do have to learn sometimes on Farming Simulator 22, because map makers are no longer listening to the sensibleness that the older map makers used to listen to. And Sally Buki is one really good map maker that does listen to this. Just saying how it is. He is a cracking map maker. He still does his edges of his fields properly, like you're supposed to do, so that you can go around the field without chopping trees to pieces, and so you don't lose any good as well. So yeah, it's just. And I mean, this is awful. I'm doing it because when you paint, it will be okay. So, I'm trying to think how are we doing on crop size? Oh wow, oh no, it's coming in. I think that was the worst of it. I don't think there's too much up this end, so I think that's all right. All right, now we need to get the trailer in. Then you will listen to me and you will leave your lights on, because the AI is not going to bother. This is soon going to fill up, I do realise. I think, how close can we get in quickly? Shut that quickly too. It's just on his way. Or she. I don't know who's Obi-Wan, I don't know who's Gina. So, and yes, I have got my Star Wars name in. Yeah, it didn't take me too long. I don't know, these going to be okay. Ooh, oh, seriously? Words fail me. They truly do fail me. Ooh, I got a bit of red then. We can get that and destroy it. Fantastic. Right. Still a bit on the ground. Don't know whether it's going to be inside enough for us to go over it without any kind of wandering. Let's get this bit here. I know it's going to go over this bit of ground, but we're going to have to do something. We can't have this kind of shenanigans. Don't know what sort of prices we're getting for onions. I didn't look closely at that, strangely enough. Yeah, we shall unload you in a minute. Right, I think it's time for a time lapse because there's going to be a lot of shenanigans, I've no doubt. There's the not sure how we survived with the posts on the other field. So yeah, I am going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. I'm coming out of the time maps. Yeah. Good session. Lots of problems. I mean, a shed load of problems, really. But we did rise to the challenge. Yeah. I was a little bit surprised that the crops on the map don't go inside of the farm. But I suppose root crops type things are a little bit special anyway, so it doesn't completely. If you were a purist, then obviously that's quite possible that you'd feel that way, that you're not allowed to. Yeah, multi-fruits are obviously a bit like seeds. I know DD Mod Passion has got his special seeds things, which is realistic. But it's sort of, a lot of the things in the game are sort of trade-offs, and I would imagine there's quite a few farmers that think the multi-fruits silos, I can't think of the word, yeah, multi-fruit silos are a bit of a con, and sort of, in a way, in real life they would be, it's true, but then it's a little bit like seeds. I was saying this myself, I've got to be honest. Oh, let's put some lights on, it's a little bit dingy. Yeah, I like the fact that we haven't got multiple seeds, because it's the storage and all the rest of it. The game isn't as easy as, like, you could do things in real life, so there's a bit of a trade-off with storage and things like that, and it's sort of difficult. If you can imagine you'd got 50 kinds of seeds in your shed that you'd stored, it would be very tricky getting to those seeds and doing it all. Not impossible, but it would add an element of storage that the game's not really set up for. I personally think, I'm not saying it's not doable, but it's probably doable at the expense of something else, and then it becomes, I'm going to bale this field. I thought we'd go partially loose and partially bale, so we're going to bale this one next session. I'm not sure, I think I have got an idea, and I'd like to do that this session. We're going to have so much straw. I mean, we're going to make our own tier mulch, makes a nice change. We're going to get that ready, and I would like enough cash. We're also going to need an oil factory, whether it's farmyard or Omatana. I think I like the Omatana because we can do taters and other things like that, and it can be a central mod. But then if the oils, and then if we're going to stick to crops on the map, then the farmyard is probably the best as well. They're both, yeah, the Omatana chugs and the farmyard gushes. It's just that good, and if we go, but it's a limited amount of things. Doesn't always suit an English map. I mean, you can use it just for the oils, but obviously it's I won't say a deer production. It's about the same as any other factory, and it does do still quite a lot. I think it's because sometimes early on in the game I used to use the Lortz all-in-one. It's a little outdated now, unless he's updated it. Things start to get a little bit more realistic, and obviously things like the farmyard and the Omatana factory started to do things like waste products that became pig food, which is quite realistic. It really is. The type of stalks and semi-edible things that you mix into pig foods when you consider the old pig swill is quite a believable thing. So it's quite good. Whereas the Lortz used to stick to the same recipe, so therefore I sort of made the jump and I removed it, even though it was one of my favourites, because and don't get me wrong, I have some very, very happy memories of that. But once I had found partners, I won't say that were better, because the Lortz was a super factory, but the recipes, you live and die by your recipes really, and the ones in farmyard and the additional things that you get from them, and the Omatana, even though the Omatana isn't super duper, it's a chugger, it still gets there and it still does an awful lot of things, which makes it versatile, just as the all-in-one by the Lortz was. Now the all-in-ones by the Lortz form factor is probably better than anything else, but also when you consider it's very cheeky. Yeah, it is, as in, like, there's no way that little factory does all of that, and it was still quite good as well on most things. So it's sort of like the Omatana factory is large, and sort of to do all that it did do, it's not brilliant at them. It's sort of quite believable, sort of. You'd have lots of mini factories, and it is about as good as that. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't do them terribly well, which I sort of like. It's quite believable. I like that. I'm not complaining. I'm sort of saying because it is a jack of all trades, it's master of none, and I actually like that. It's the Farmer Jeb's more of a specialist, so it's a real toss-up between the two. But I also would like to do the crops on the map, so I'm not really sure whether we wouldn't go for the Farmer Jeb instead of the Omatana, but we need somewhere to store it, to put it. Also, the mod that comes to mind the most is the straw to manure mod, because we've got a shed load of straw, and if we're not going BGA, we're not going to make straw silage or anything like that, or even compost or whatever, it's still, we could try the compost, but I don't want to go too production, which I always find it makes things too terrible. I'd sooner have one or two special partners than like too many partners. As I have done on some Let's Plays, it gets a little bit silly. There's an awful lot of straw, and it is a big field. Ah, this is one of those fields with weird issue. No, I don't think. I think it's just the fact that the straw from these windrows is all gathered in that spot when it sort of stops at a row, at the end of a row. It obviously all gathers behind the harvester. So, wow, that one's not bad as an additional. When do you think that was emptied? So we own the header. I'm thinking I've kept the sugar beet harvester, because obviously we can just grab another header. We'll get leasing costs, but then we would anyway, so I'm not really worried. We're going to do it in the morning, and we're going to do the sugar beet. So next session, I think we're not going to go through September. We're going to crack on and grab the straw. But I thought, yeah, we will ask the shop to drop. Let's stick this header on the side of that bit, because this is ours. We can grab it at a later date. But I don't want to just drop it in the middle of the field as I usually do. But I would like to put the straw to manure mod on. And I'm thinking there are some spots down this end, but we might need to chop a tree down. Or, you know, we're just going to have a look. I wish it was lighter as well, really, but it isn't. Yeah, there's a few patches like where that big tree is, where you could sort of lease a tree devourer and stick something quite large down. Because the one by JM Gaming, the straw to manure mod, I just think of it as compost, really. And I know it's again, it's one of those gaming conventions. So let's have a bit of a flyover and see. It could go there, and he could have also put the nozzle by the gates in the wrong place. That's a Yeah, because you'd have to, like, if we think crops are going in here all of the time. Again, I don't want to be on the inside of the fields, because you're not going to have it accessible all of the time. So this field, likewise, the gate opens to the left, blocking entry to the left. There are a few bits and bobs, perhaps. It's not the biggest of things. If we could tree devour those 3 or 4 trees, and that one's a troublesome one anyway. I mean, you can see the amount of tree limbs we've had to chop. But yeah, that one, that's possible. I don't think there's any more room here. I think that's all gone. And I know we've got that big headland there. The other place, I suppose, is in a very similar place, which would be right next to that, leaning out. Yeah, let's also switch zone markers on for a second, and I'm gonna have to fly. No, let's go up there. Let's go up to the top. And also, whilst we're going up this end, let's ask the store to grab that harvester and return it, so it's not on camera and disappearing in a puff of smoke, even though we all know it's a convention and you don't want to see it. It's the magic. So with that in mind, there is also this field. I did think of that, but again, you could sort of stick it in that corner and have the spout, which I very infrequently use, go there. That's another option, because it's all. But I think this would probably. Trouble is, you've got to go in the cow place, but then you've got to go in that field in the same way. We're going to have to make little changes. I was damaging the crop there, and I thought, well, really, we ought to just paint that, but I don't want to paint it while there's crop on the ground. So it's a bit of a, well, what do you do? If you paint it now, you're going to damage the crop, but if you wait for the crop to be there, you've got to sort of guess whereabouts it was. I suppose, actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Just had a little bit of a thought. We could put a tiny bit of, just a little bit of paint to mark where it goes to. Oh, it sort of matches the ground already. Yeah, I think we'll just do a line of something like that. So now then, I would say we've got to get to it. I don't really want to block that, but this dome here on that side there, really, that's not really going to affect things too badly. We've already got to come to it. So the JM Gamer one is sort of like a large silo. In fact, I think he did use it as his silo on Agris Balcones, adjusted slightly, because it always, when I saw Agris Balcones and I'd already had that, the straw to manure mod, I thought, I'm sure that's the one that it is a production still. It's got to be honest, it's a real cracker. Ooh, ooh, ooh. A real cracking looking mod, quite unique, and obviously, as he often does, sculpted from scratch, possibly from a building that's real. I myself have been looking on Google Maps to try to do silos but I would like it to be original. A lot of them are like this, but there's wooden ones, there's ceramic ones, there's all sorts of old-fashioned silos that are really quite beautiful that I wouldn't mind actually. Here we go. Yes, I would want the spout where you, oh, did I got the shop area there. Is the spout to go over the wall, and the drop-off area, which we know we're going to have to V-mode it. Yeah, so is sort of there, and also it's going to have to go into the wall a little, which in real life you'd actually move. Oh, okay. Well, obviously we've didn't realise we'd done that. Let's do that again, shall we? It's not too far away. To apologise for the lights. Anything we're doing things, but obviously, again, this is reasonable, but it does need upgrading. Otherwise, it really is. It's a real chugger. Right, I did like the other one. I think, was it by BDSSB or I can't remember who did it, but it was a cracker. But it was too good. You got 3 times the amount of manure back from the straw that you put in, and I thought, I love it. It's fairly hefty as well, so you didn't get it. This is a bit smaller, but this needs upgrading to quite a few. So probably ends up costing about 30 or 40,000 when you consider the upgrades, and it's still not as good as the other one, but it's more believable, and that to me is really important. So if we sort of do that into that, sort of as if we've taken the fence down, can we still we need to look at it this way. I do wish you could sort of snap to a point so that you could, I don't want to block the, could even, I've got to be careful, that's not far off. I think I'd sooner it come sort of down, because it doesn't really matter. We're not, even if we had to change our mow, and if we did this one more time, which I'm hoping we're going to get some cows soon now. So if we do the nozzle there, and just do a little bit of landscaping, a blob of something just to sort of show, it's actually right where the door is, you can see that, but I would like to do a blob of like white concrete, but fairly hefty. So about, just trying, you've got to go over here to see how big it is. Maybe that's a bit too big, but let's have a look. Yeah, maybe it is one size smaller. Actually, maybe not. Maybe the bigger size is better. Yeah, that's not bad. Right, so let's take those off, and we will upgrade that. Now, next session we're going to get the straw into that. Before we move on, I'd like to sort of show how well we did. You may have seen it. I never saw to see how much we did. So 25 tonnes from, wow, I think the other field we got more. I'm sure. Let's have a look at those, the two fields. I'm sure we got, have I emptied? I think I've emptied it, haven't I? Yeah, or have I? I don't think I have. Oh, that's a bit, 25 tonnes, I'm sure. Let's have a look how much we've got already from the other field, because that's an awful lot smaller than that field. What are they like? Ah, there's a lot of loam. That makes sense. There's two massive loamy sand and sandy loam are a little bit sort of samey. That score's good for precision farming. Very good. Wow, I'm quite impressed with that. Right, so then let's have a look. How much have we got in store? Sunflowers. No, I can only read that because we've obviously no, that's in stock. So it was about the same. So smaller field we got 25 tons. The bigger field we got 25 tons. So yeah, it just goes to show how having a loamy patch, this field is like 1.5 times that, and it's only done the same yield. So it just sort of show. I always liked it. I mean, the pure loamy fields are beautiful. I've had the pleasure of owning them on a couple of maps where they're pure loam. It's yeah. I've got a grass field on one of them. Trying to think of the modder's name. Is it ER Shabba? Yeah, the one who makes the barrels behind me. That's what I was trying to think of. I was trying to think, come on, you know his name. I do. It's just Saturday. It's been a heavy week of work, and you sort of, my brain always, it's always hard. It's names and things like that. I know them. It's just they don't pop. So that does sort of really emphasise exactly how. No, I was just had a thought then that I could have done the dropping point on this side, but at the minute we've not got any cows. But I do want to remedy that soon. But we do need also to put the oil factory. So it's sort of again, it's stealing away money, and then there's yeah, I don't want to sort of take the money. We've got all the way to go through the winter as well. Where you go? Yeah, this is true. So 50 tons of sunflowers is going to produce, I think it's about half. Again, we can't really check until we've chosen a partner. But yeah, I think I'm not going to rush into it because I don't know that we are going to do potatoes and things like that. I'd like to stick to being an arable farmer as much as possible. I don't want to lean on fertilizer at all because it's what I'm normally tempted to do is let's go do fertilizer because it earns money even on hard economy. But I want this really to be a let's play that is about farming rather than more productions, but obviously productions where the money is too. So we've got to do that. But what I mean is, in that case, we should do oils, maybe a bit of canola. That is a point about. Yeah, I did think of it earlier when I was on the time lapse. I was thinking about when do we plant canola? So we could rip up the field. We might need to grab a de-stoner. We could plough the fields. Do we? Don't need to plough. We could no-till, but we've not no because the seeder is not a no-till, so we'd have to plough and then grab the stones. And if we do grab the stones, I think we can stick them in the farm production by Cavalier Roy. Yeah, so we've got. Does it show you how much? Can this read how much onions you've got? No. I think it was about 88 tons of onions, which let's have a look how much that is. How much sort of, and when the time to sell onions actually is. Yeah, so it is 50 tons of sunflowers. So it's now in the silo properly. Diesel, which reads that, and yeah, there's an awful lot on there. Onions, buy for it's very much like carrots and all the rest of it. Then, so let's have a look. So the best possible price is in January, which is exactly when. Now that's hard economy. I've got to be honest. That's quite impressive. So 80 odd tons at 248 is quite good. Now I didn't see anything where you can actually make anything from onions or anything like that. And because it's sort of very specialist, I don't really think there's going to be. Is that? Yeah, but I don't know that it's. I need to find out what that mod is, really, because that would be quite formidable if we could do that on hard economy. That's quite reasonable prices, really. But, I mean, the other thing there, Metano does fantastic, but if we're trying to stick to oils, this is what I'm saying. I don't want to like branch out. If we're going to be a bit of an oil specialist as our main thing, but we also want to stick to things on the crop, there's poppies and things like that. It's a traditional harvester. Yield might be terrible. I have done other ones on Fox Farms. There was a super duper price on one thing, and I got all excited, and it was one of the lowest yields. It made soybeans look positively tremendous. Like the yield to be good on that. It really was that terrible. Right, so let's also have a quick look at. No, this is the straw. Yeah, we'd filled it again, hadn't we? There's an awful lot of straw on there. Again, I don't know. I think the straw to manure is going to be the best, but again, it's got to be souped up if it's going to get. But again, I'm not really wanting to. It doesn't have to be super duper. It's more about chugging and going through the years to a degree. So we need to upgrade that, yes, at least a couple of times. That's going to go to the bottom. Storage goes up nicely, so that does now about 27 tons. No, 25 tons. And now it does 39, and this cost us 10, 20, 30,000. I think one more is what I normally do, and then it's about reasonable. So sometimes I do one more. So it's 53 tons of straw that it can process every month and produce manure. So we're going to stick that in, and I'm quite happy with that. And then we can start to use the Cavalier Roy a little bit more. Again, I mean, I am going to use this to the full because it is quite complicated. You can make slurry from that, and again, there's quite an gain from that, which then produces a bit of straw back and quite a bit of that. It sort of not perpetuates, it's not that good, but it does feed itself in some ways for the addition of water. So again, that's something we can switch that on, and that will then call for that once we've stuck that in. So that's for the future, definitely. What I wanted to check was, yeah, we've got two. We need to stick some hay in this one. This is the farm supply production. I thought I'd rename that one. I don't think it changes. I think I have. It says it's the farm FSP now, but it doesn't show it this session. So this is the windmill one, and this is starting to make TMR. So it's going to make, if you look at the top, it's going to take 170 tons of hay and 170 tons of silage and about 100-ish tons, 120 tons of straw. That's why I wasn't going to keep chucking more and more in, because I thought, I don't know that you're going to need it. So we're going to really, truly produce our own TMR, which would be really nice to actually feed our own cows. I haven't done that since Fairhead. So that would be nice. There'd be a shed load of that in there. We did say we've got the same in here. We need to put some straw. I thought we had stuck it in this one. We had, yeah, it's the hay. And we need to take some hay or not sure whether this year to suit our purpose. Although I suppose I always say you're allowed to buy one input. So we're providing the straw, we're providing the thing. So we could indeed grab the hay and stick that in and do that, so that's it. And then we're going to have a shed load of TMR. I mean a shed load. Silage, I'm not sure what to. You can sell it in January at normal silage costs if we've got an excess and make a few pounds. Yeah, we are on pounds. Yeah, that away. That will work. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing this. So I do think we probably next session need to quickly get this up, and I think we'll stick canola in this one. And yeah, because the farmer Jeb will eat through that 50 tons like it's gone out of fashion. The other thing is, the big elephant in the room is, where does the farmer Jebs go? It's a bit of a monster. There's nowhere on our farm it can go. Not if we tore up. You say, that's actually not a bad place. If we chop that section off there, let's have a quick look. It's a possibility. We just have to redo that course. It is one of our biggest fields, and it's grass, so you can always go on it. So it is a possibility. No, that's a tiny little bit. The farmyard is obviously and I don't mean that it's horrible. I would get rid of those because we never need them. I never need clamps because I always go the Omatana way. I really do, and it is just a given. We've also got a lot of digestate, but we could sell any excess to on hard economy. It's not worth as much, but we could put the slurry yard down and actually do that as well. But again, the slurry yard is big, so it's going to take a chunk out of a field. So again, we could be looking. Let's have a look. So it's pretty much the same size as the farm factory. They're very similar. It's like they've both used the same one and then put different bits and bobs onto that factory. So it is right next to the orange duck goats. Ooh, it is a bit of a monster. It is a bit of a monster. Yeah. I don't somehow think that's going in there. Or I suppose that's not too terrible. But it's the other end. I suppose you could flip it that away. Because strangely enough, you really don't need that side. I don't think it's just that end there. So you could sort of tuck that in. If you imagine the trees aren't there, I think we could sort of nestle really. If we to put that where it would be about there. Yeah, that would be about there, which means if we try not to move that too much, and then go out a little, not losing much of that. It's not even all of that section that sticks out. I think we'd probably have to do more like that. But it really is only the grate, as I think, that is necessary. If it isn't, then I'm sure with it is. The other option is, of course, to buy a bit of land. And I'm not sure if there are any production slabs on the map. It really, I suppose now, because we are planning, I mean, the biogas will be good, but again, it's very reasonable, the price of land, but we can't get rid of anything on that to do anything. So, yeah, that's 4 million. So, no. That is the dairy. I think it's all fields. I can't see a single slab. Doesn't mean to say that one doesn't exist. It's more about the fact that I can't see any. And I don't suppose we don't want to be going an absolute really far away. Let's have a look. Let's do the pressy thing. So I think that's 2. That's right next door. Oh, my life. So we could get a farm with that, I think. Looks like it. Yeah, it looks like a farm as well. It's not bad for 323, really. So, field 62. I think that'll be those 3, which is 264,000. And this was a really not a bad price. It looks like one of the cheapest on the map. Oh, that's good as well. So actually, it's only across the road, but the field, this one's more convenient. We did see that. I can't remember where the gate is. I think the gate's on the road anyway, so it's not that convenient. So this is the closest. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's go and have a quick look before we close the session down. Let's borrow a little snippy, zoopy-doopy one. Let's drop. I must get these. It's annoying me, the barrels on the back now. It's because this is half empty and all that type of stuff. So let's go and have a look at that field. It's right next to the farm, and we know you don't really need productions right on, but the farmer jeb's too big to put on the edge of a field. It just, I mean, and I know technique. I don't really like. I've only started to do the cow and the pigs and all that type of things because I've done it before and I know what it's like. So it's field 29, where that house is, where it juts out. Or is it this one? It's this one here. So I think the gate is probably one of those. Let's have a look. Wow, it's right in the village. Oh, you're a bit close. So it is, it's this bit here. As prospective buyers will turn a blind eye to the incorrect. Oh, I like it. It's not only that, but it's got a massive plot of land right here that's actually, you could still have the field. It's not a very nice field, admittedly. We saw that the stats were a little pretty awful. But it's one of the few fields that actually, yeah, you can see how much of the grass you get. All that section there right next to the water. Is there a, I don't doubt there's a second. Some of them have got gates. Let's have a bit of a flyover. I wish it was lighter. Yeah, there could be one at the back, which leads onto our grass field. There were some gates. Yeah, I think I'm right. It does. That would be even better. That's the field where we do our grass, and I looked and saw the caravan like that. You may have all seen it too. So really, that's a different field though. That's field 30. Ah, I've confused myself now. So was there a gate leading from this, or is there a path that leads? Oh, I can see a collectible. I think you can get down that road. Looking at that. But it's just one of those back routes. So that's the way into that field. I thought we saw a gate. We didn't. Thought we did. No, I think it's wishful thinking. It would be perfect, wouldn't it, really? I could do one of my super sneaky jobbies that joins the fields. Yeah, we could. That would be a perfect place. But then we're going into the. You could raise the ground, and it's already raised. It wouldn't really hurt. That's our field 2. You could sort of do one if we chop. I think the tree devourer, we're going to need to lease it to do a few little tweaks. That's a nice corner for another production, and we could still have the field. It's not going to break the bank, but obviously we've got the farmer jeb is 85,000. The land is that as well, so that's 160,000. And then we're doing the crops in the morning and all the rest of it like that. So is there a way? Can't sneak over there, but I'm not sure you can get a lot of. I don't know. It looks about right. And then we could sort of sneak that away. It's a bit of a trek. Oh, there's a windmill on that field. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, there's options. Or this is a bit of a. It's not a very level field. This one on the top of the hill with the windmill on it. That's why I didn't sort of look at it. This is not perfectly flat, but down here it's not awful. It does run up. We can all see that. But I don't think it's too terrible. And down this section it's also not too terrible. We could change the shape of the field. I wouldn't mind if we ripped that level all the way down to there and just left it more of a proper shaped field and have that as productions. If we're going to go sort of production, but you can see it does rise up, but it's not terrible. So this is, not too terrible really. I think we could do it and still manage to just about go. Here is the limit of it. We might have to raise the land here. I think we could still get past to get in the field. That would be nice. So this is an option. The cheapest one. Again, we do get the one leg up we have got is the generator, which does bring in 20 to 30,000 over the we could afford that field just off the income that our generator, our wind business brings in anyway, which is what I really like about it. Hard economy, it is hard, but it does give us a bit of a leg up. The onions aren't bad. I don't think the yield on them is nowhere near as if that had been a carrot field, we'd have been at 300 or 400 tons. So the price sort of does equate with, yeah, like the gain is commensurate with the yield of the onions. They're just worth the same as carrots, and which pretty much goes with Giant's ethos, really, of like equal prices for every crop, one way or another, which is quite commendable. You have a high yield and it's a low price, or you have a low yield and a high price. It is what it is. But of course, the productions can completely change what you can do with things. So then, in summation, the farmer jeb will destroy that. I still think I'd like to do the animals. So I would like to do that sort of sooner rather than later. We need to replant. We've done 65 and we've done 3. We know the yield's about the same. We've done 61. If we, yeah, we just show the love seeing the harvested state. So we could choose any one of those for canola, or we could even do 2 canolas. We could do 61 and 65, and then that is a lot of canola. And then next year again, field 1, I think sunflowers, and field 3, we could do sugar beets. Yeah, I mean sugar as well. Again, Farmer Jeb does sugar, and sugar is a good earner, even on hard economy. So again, sugar beet we could really do with a couple of fields. So if we've got field 29 as well, how much is 30 just out of interest? Oh my life, it's the mother lode. It's a horrible field. It's got quite a bit of grass around the edge and trees. That would be a real asset in comparison to that is awful. Yield potential is really quite horrible, whereas that is really the mother lode. It's nearly all loam. We could cut the grass. I think we found the field that I like. I don't know about the Farmer Jeb though, whether we buy this for productions late in the winter, because the oil, if I remember rightly, it's about March or June or July. I can't remember which one. It's at the top. No, it's about there, I think. Oh, there's some map things that are throwing it around. So it's quite high. It is 2118 and it is actually February. So this map's slightly different. So sunflowers we would need to do the farmer jeb, and it is gonna, if we imagine we've got 50 tons, it would be about 25 tons. So that's about 50,000, which is still not very good. But it's for a year's graft, so it's not bad. And then canola oil is very similar price. Obviously we've not done that, but what I mean is it's a similar price, and that is, as I know, November, December. Again, 2 fields of canola. We've got a little bit of wiggle room to grow a bit, and we are doing well. It doesn't look like it is because I'm trying my best not to do my first instinct is always fertilize business, but it's like, yeah, well, it's fertilize business again. That's going to always save you. Yes, it is. It's true, but oil's a legitimate business. Well, fertilizer is really, but it is super duper even on hard economy, and I'd like to. We've given ourselves that one leg up, so I don't want to give myself any more. There's going to be a bit of it from the Farmer Jeb, the farm production by Cavalier Roy. There is. I can't really help that. We did say we'd use that, but again, it's not going to be too much. It's going to duck and dive a little bit, and we're going to get some of this, but it's only dependent upon what we put in it, and that we've only got 120 cows. I am tempted to edit the maps, and I haven't done since FS19, to increase the amount of cows that I've got. If there's a map update though, I'm stuffed because I've then got to edit. Yeah, I've got to update the map. It's one of those idiosyncrasies of when, if you edit a map, the map knows it's not the same as the map on the mod hub, and it always says update once you start to edit a map. It used to drive me crazy, so that's why I'm not a massive fan of editing maps. But yeah, if I want more animals in that enclosure, then I've got to edit the map. So, and a few little bits and bobs on the XML file within the map, and then I've got to repackage it and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's an option. It is a shame because I have got that mod where you can buy more animals, but it doesn't seem to work. I think I've only seen it work on one map, so I think it can be blocked by the map maker themselves. So yeah, this is still a better field for putting things on it though. So we shall see. I'm going to think on it. So all that remains to be said for this particular session is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.